This is Joshua. Joshua is 12 and dreams of one day becoming a chef. He is also autistic. Many autistic people, such as Joshua, experience barriers when it comes to accessing education and employment. Did you know that it is currently estimated that up to 90% of autistic people are not employed? Everyone in society, whether they are autistic or not, has certain strengths that can be harnessed to progress in education and access employment. Autistic people can learn and work in many different areas depending on their individual interests and strengths. They should have equal opportunities to make the most out of their potential in education and the work world. To do this, they require accessible, supportive environments and reasonable accommodation. It is in fact a right enshrined in the UN Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities, ratified by all EU member states and the EU. To accommodate sensory needs, such as higher sensitivity to sound or light experienced by many autistic people, educational establishments and workplaces should, for example, provide soundproofing of rooms and autism-friendly lighting. It is part of what is called reasonable accommodation. Reasonable accommodation is any adaptation in a learning or work environment that enables a person with a disability to enjoy equal opportunities. Creating an accessible, supportive learning or work environment can look different depending on individual needs, as every person on the autism spectrum is unique. Within the scope of education, reasonable accommodation can mean providing more one-to-one time for autistic learners and unstructured time such as breaks, creating educational materials using alternative and augmented formats, and having a flexible curriculum so that autistic learners can make full use of their interests and skills without being held back by certain topics. To help facilitate learning, an individualized educational plan should be created based on an assessment of support, needs, and strengths. Staff should also be aware of autistic thinking, as understanding is key to providing adequate support. It is therefore important that people who are here to support Joshua are trained to better understand autism and to use suitable methods. To ensure equal access, the costs linked to reasonable accommodation in education should be provided through public funding. Later, when Joshua wants to access employment, he might still need some reasonable accommodation, such as an accessible recruitment process. For example, asking him to perform a concrete cooking task instead of an interview. A program to help him gain experience and support the transition from education to work, and an adaptation of his working hours. We can all make a difference to make society more open and inclusive of diversity. Autism-Europe's campaign, I Can Learn, I Can Work, coincides with the UN's World Autism Awareness Day on the 2nd of April. The campaign's goal is to raise awareness about the specific needs of autistic people in relation to education and employment. By increasing access and support, we can better help autistic people like Joshua achieve their goals.